do my best to read the Latin names. No promises. Oplopanax horridus. Alaskan ginseng shrubs can be identified by their large palmate leaves, thorny stems, and small red fruits. The clusters of berries can be found growing at the top of the plant. These plants are usually found in forests and moist areas, growing across Amberino and northern West Elizabeth. This medicinal plant can be crafted into medicine or consumed to replenish your health core. Next is the American ginseng. Panax quinquefolius. I'm pretty sure that means with 5 leaves. Quinque is Latin for 5, and folius must be something to do with the leaves. American ginseng shrubs can be identified by their large palmate leaves, smooth stems, and small cluster of red berries. The cluster of berries are smaller than the clusters found on Alaskan ginseng. These plants are native to forests and moist areas from West Elizabeth to the edges of New Hanover. This medicinal plant can be crafted into medicine or consumed to replenish your health core. Next is the bay bolete. Imleria badia. It's the same one that was in the book in the other reading video I did. Anyway, bay bolete can be recognized by the orange or brown cap. This singular fungi often grows in clusters and can be spotted growing in decaying tree stumps, moist ground, or among woody areas. Due to the simple condition that this plant needs to grow, it can be found across numerous regions, such as tall trees, West Elizabeth, and Caliban's Seat, New Hanover. This edible fungi can be consumed to replenish your health core or crafted into herbivore bait. Next is the blackberry, Rubus. Blackberry shrubs can be identified by the serrated leaves and black aggregate fruit. The shrubs can grow in poor soil, so locations like woodlands, hedges, and hillsides make the perfect habitats. This plant is popular in West Elizabeth as well as along the Dakota River banks. Blackberries can be consumed to replenish your health core or crafted into predator bait. If I had to guess, I would say that this missing entry is maybe a black currant, which I'm kind of surprised I haven't found yet, if it is that. Anyway. Next is the burdock root, Arctium lapa. Burdock bushes are tall, dark green leafy bushes and are very easy to spot in the light-colored surroundings. They are found in the western side of the Great Plains region, particularly along the railroad tracks and river banks, sometimes near rocks and under groups of trees, but scattered about in general. The root can be consumed or crafted into bitters. Next are chanterelle, cantarellus. Chanterelles are large yellow fungi that grow in clusters on low ground. The color of the fungi can range from white to bright orange, which makes them easy to spot. This type of fungi can often be found in grass areas, woodlands across Lemoyne and in the east of New Hanover. Chanterelles can be consumed to increase your health core or crafted into herbivore bait. Next is the common bulrush, Tifa latifolia. I'm sorry if you're a herbologist and you actually know how to pronounce all this. Common bulrush can be recognized by the long leaves and brown staminate flowers. This plant can be found near streams and lakes in every region of America. Every region across America, sorry. The plant is poisonous to humans, so it should never be consumed, though it can be used in crafting a horse ointment. Next is creeping thyme, Thymus serpyllum. Creeping thyme is an evergreen sub-shrub with woody stems, small green leaves, and tiny purple bell-shaped flowers. The durability of this plant means that it can be found in most places across America. This plant can often be found growing in thin soil near riverbanks, sandy soil, and near rocks. The herb can be consumed to replenish your dead-eye core, or as a seasoning when cooking. Next is English mace, Achillea aceratum. Interestingly, I've never picked this plant, but I've used it in recipes twice, so not sure how that's possible. English mace can be identified by their long stems, serrated leaves, and numerous small creamy yellow flowers. They can be found growing near the riverbanks in Rio Bravo, New Austin. English mace can be used in crafting to increase your health levels or to help restore the horse stamina core. Next is the evergreen huckleberry, Vaccinium ovatum. Evergreen huckleberry shrubs can be recognized by the sharp evergreen leaves and black berries. The shrubs can be found along the Kamassa River that runs through Lemoyne and New Hanover. The berries can be consumed to replenish your health core or crafted into predator bait. Next is the golden currant, Ribes aureum. Golden currant shrubs are easily recognized by their bright yellow petals and golden berries. This herb is one of the key ingredients when making snake oil. When consumed by itself, the herb will refill your dead-eye core. And I guess there's a cigarette card for this plant as well, which I haven't found yet. Next is hummingbird sage, also with a cigarette card I haven't found yet. Sorry about the planes. It's like 10:30 p.m. But I guess there's still a lot of air traffic. Salvia spatacea. Hummingbird sage can be identified by their square stems and their deep purple flowers. A common place to spot these herbs is in dry shaded areas, under dense foliage and trees in Lemoyne, the west side of West Elizabeth, as well as along both banks of the Kamassa River in New Hanover. When crafted into bitters or consumed, this herb will recharge your stamina core. Next is Indian tobacco, of which I have found the cigarette card. Lobelia inflata. Indian tobacco can be identified by their tall height, serrated leaves, and delicate lilac flowers. These plants are native to woodlands and savannas and can be found growing in West Elizabeth, Amberino, and Lemoyne. The herb can be consumed to increase your dead-eye core, or as one of the key ingredients to make snake oil. Next is milkweed. Asclepias syriaca. Milkweed can be identified by the large stems and leaves and clusters of lilac flowers. It is a popular plant that can be seen growing near riverbanks of Bayou Noir and Dewberry Creek in Lemoyne. This herb contains cardiac glycoside poisons, which can be fatal to animals depending on the amount consumed and the age of the plant. Arrows can be tipped into poisons when hunting and fighting. If processed properly, this herb can be consumed to increase your health levels or crafted into special items. And next is oleander sage. Nerium. Oleander sage shrubs can be identified by the thin leaves and small 5-petal pink flowers. The popular herb can be seen growing near the riverbanks of Bayou Noir. This shrub is considered to be one of the most poisonous plants in America and should never be consumed. The cardiac glycoside poisons produced by this plant can be used to craft deadly weapons. Next is oregano. Mid-word, I wasn't sure if I would go for oregano or oregano. Not sure which is more correct. Origanum vulgare. Oregano can be recognized by their oval-shaped leaves and purple sprouting flowers. The shrubs spread quickly in diameter and can grow up to 30 inches. thrives in dry grasslands, which makes it a popular plant across America, as it can be found in most places. Oregano is a popular herb used for seasoning meats, and can also be consumed by itself to increase your stamina core. Next is the parasol mushroom, Macrolepiota procera. Again, this was in I forget the title of the book, the one in the book reading video. Parasol mushroom is a fungi that can be recognized by its dome-shaped pileus. I don't know how to pronounce this. This type of mushroom can often be found in well-drained soil and woodlands across America. These mushrooms should never be consumed when raw, as they contain some toxic elements. When prepared correctly, they can increase your health core. They can also be crafted into herbivore bait. Next is the ram's head. Tricky name. Cypripedium arietinum. Ram's head can be identified by the clustered formation. This type of fungi can be found growing at the bottom of tree trunks in woodlands and forests in West Elizabeth and Amberino. This type of fungi can be used as herbivore bait or consumed to help replenish your health core. Next is the red raspberry, Rubus idaeus. Red raspberry bushes are easily identified by their large size and bright red berries. Due to the simple conditions that this plant requires, shrubs can be found flourishing across most regions of America. The raspberry fruit can be consumed to replenish your health core or crafted into predator bait. Next is the vanilla flower, Vanilla planifolia. Vanilla flower can be identified by the large greenish yellow flowers, thick leaves and stems. This popular plant that can be seen growing near the river banks of Bayou Noir. Strange sentence. When consumed, this plant will replenish your health core, though this can also be crafted into herbivore bait. I remember on several occasions when there was like a side mission to find X amount of some species of orchid. All I kept finding was vanilla flowers. So I have mixed feelings about this plant. Next is the violet snowdrop, Galanthus nivalis. Violet snowdrops can be recognized by the short stems, long leaves, and violet bell-shaped flowers. This type of plant requires cooler weather, which makes the north of Amberino a great place for this plant to flourish. This type of snowdrop can be consumed to increase your stamina core or crafted into herbivore bait. characterized by its long, thin stems and white clustered flowers. The durability of this plant means it can be seen growing across most regions of America, often along roads or in fields. This plant can be crafted into horse items or consumed to replenish your health core. It's probably the main food I give to Sammy, my horse. Next is wild mint, Mentha arvensis. Wild mint can be identified by their square stems, pale purple flowers, and fragrant leaves. Mint can grow up to 30 inches, making them easy to spot. This plant is common to marshes, along streams, and moist meadows, which makes it a popular plant across America. Mint is a popular herb used for seasoning meats and can also be consumed by itself to increase your health core. Next is the wintergreen berry, Cauteria procumbens. Wintergreen berry is a low-growing shrub that is identifiable by the evergreen leaves and red berries. Shrubs can be found in woodlands and forests in the northern regions of Amberino and New Hanover. The plant can be consumed to replenish your health core or crafted into predator bait. And next is yarrow. Achillea millefolium. Like a 1,000-leaf plant, I guess, literally. Yarrow is easily recognized by the long, thin stems and red clusters of flowers. This plant can be found in grasslands and open forest areas in New Hanover and Lemoyne. Yarrow can be consumed to replenish your health core or crafted into medicine. And all these are orchids, I suppose. Only one of which I haven't found, which is a bit puzzling. Anyway, Acuna's star orchid is the first one. Epidendrum acunae. Star orchid can be identified by the branching of the stems, alternate leaves, and cream-colored petals. The trailing plant is often found on the ground or growing around the trees in swampland areas. The Acuna's star orchid is native to the east coast of Bayou and Lemoyne. The orchidelirium trend has meant that this rare orchid is extremely valuable to collectors and botanists. Next is a cigar orchid. Cyrtopodium punctatum. The cigar orchid can be identified by the inflorescence, which can produce around 500 bright yellow flowers with purple and brown markings. This type of plant can be seen growing upon other plants and trees in Blue Water Marsh, Lemoyne. The orchidelirium trend has meant that this rare orchid is extremely valuable to collectors and botanists. I guess it will say that for every kind of orchid. Next is the clamshell orchid. Prostekea cochleata. The clamshell orchid can be identified by the deep purple and white petals with yellow streaks and thin leaves. This type of orchid can be found growing upon tree trunks and branches in swamplands. The clamshell orchid is native to Scarlet Meadows and Bayou Enoi, Lemoyne. The orchidelirium trend has meant that this rare orchid is extremely valuable to collectors and botanists. It's just like the dog entries in one of the other videos where it always said the same thing for the kind of food they eat. Anyway, next is the ghost orchid. Dendrophylax lindeni. The ghost orchid is named after the white to pale pink flowers that can be seen in shaded habitats. This small orchid grows in shaded areas such as woodlands and under leaves and soil, with only the flower appearing above ground. The ghost orchid is native to Bayou Enoi, Lemoyne. The orchidelirium trend has meant that this rare orchid is extremely valuable to collectors and botanists. Next is the Lady of the Night orchid. Brassavola nodosa. Lady of the Night orchid takes its name from the sweet citrus fragrance it produces during nightfall. The orchid can be identified by the white heart-shaped flowers and long leaves. This orchid can be found growing upon tree trunks in its native habitat of Bayou Enoi, Lemoyne. The orchidelirium trend has meant that this rare orchid is extremely valuable to collectors and botanists. Next is the lady slipper orchid. Cypripedium calcapius. Lady slipper orchid can be identified by the large bulbous purple flower and speckled purple leaves. This type of orchid can be seen growing in the ground in forests, meadows, and woodland areas, like the Big Valley and tall trees areas of West Elizabeth. The orchidelirium trend has meant that this rare orchid is extremely valuable to collectors and botanists. Next is the moccasin flower orchid. Cypripedium acaule. Moccasin flower orchid can be identified by the yellow pouch-like petals, red sepals, and wide leaves. This orchid can be found growing near pines or conifers in woodlands and forests. There have been sightings of this orchid growing in Roanoke Ridge, New Hanover. The orchidelirium trend has meant that this rare orchid is extremely valuable to collectors and botanists. Next is the night-scented This orchid can be found growing upon other plants, often draping down from trees. The night-scented orchid is native to swampland areas and can be found growing in Bayeux and Lemoyne. The orchidelirium trend has meant that this rare orchid is extremely valuable to collectors and botanists. Next is the Queen's orchid, Telimitra crinita. The Queen's orchid can be identified by the white sepals and purple and white curled petals. The Queen's orchid is native to swampland areas and can be found growing in Bayeux and Lemoyne. The orchidelirium trend has meant that this rare orchid is extremely valuable to collectors and botanists. And just a few more. The rat-tail orchid, Dendrobium terretifolium. Rat-tail orchids are different to most orchids, as they can often be found creeping around trees in addition to growing from the ground. When in bloom, this orchid will produce long white or cream petals. These orchids can often be found growing on rocks and along stream banks of Bayeux and Lemoyne. The orchidelirium trend has meant that this rare orchid is extremely valuable to collectors and botanists. The second to last one is the sparrow's egg orchid, Cypripedium passerinum. Sparrow's egg orchids can easily be identified by their white petals that form the shape of a small sparrow's egg. This type of orchid can grow up to 20 inches in height. The common habitats for these flowers are damp forest grounds and along stream banks across Roanoke Ridge, New Hanover. The orchidelirium trend has meant that this rare orchid... No. Yes. Now I mess up after having read it a dozen times. The orchidelirium trend has meant that this rare orchid is extremely valuable to collectors and botanists. And lastly, for the plants, is the spider orchid, Caladenia. Spider orchids can be identified by the long sepals that resemble the legs of a spider. The flowers blossom in shades of cream, green, brownish red, and spotted yellow. These flowers can often be found in swamplands and damp forest grounds in Bayeux and Lemoyne. The orchidelirium trend has meant that this rare orchid is extremely valuable to collectors and botanists. Alright, that was it for the plants section. Maybe when I've collected all 43 plants, I can revisit this video or make some kind of a different kind of video of the same thing. I don't know, we'll see then. I doubt it will happen anytime soon,